In 2023, something extraordinary happened. A 57-year-old man with end-stage kidney disease did the unthinkable. He refused dialysis. No machines, no tubes, no endless hospital visits. On paper, his chances looked hopeless until he discovered a last lifeline, a groundbreaking approach called intestinal dialysis. Unlike traditional dialysis, this method doesn't require needles or machines. Instead, it works through a simple oral supplement. And then came the shock. Within just 1 week of starting this protocol, his creatinine levels dropped back to normal. No dialysis. No invasive procedures. Just one supplement. What I'm sharing with you today is not speculation. It's one of the most remarkable treatments ever published in a peer-reviewed medical journal. Imagine you're a CKD patient, told dialysis is your only option. Suddenly, you're offered a choice: years of dialysis, or a simple supplement 3 times a day. It sounds like science fiction, but it's real. A case report published in 2023 documented this man's journey. You can see him yourself. This is no anonymous claim. He was literally on the verge of chronic dialysis, and yet his kidney function returned to normal. And here's the real breakthrough: this approach isn't limited to patients already on dialysis. It holds potential for every stage of CKD. Now, I know what you're thinking: this sounds impossible. But this isn't internet hype. It comes from a respected medical journal and from a physician whose work I've studied extensively, Dr. Amir, a pioneer in pediatric nephrology and the leading mind behind intestinal dialysis. If anyone could turn the impossible into reality for late-stage CKD patients, it's him. And here's the kicker: it wasn't a one-time miracle. Dr. Amir has applied this protocol to many patients, again and again, with equally astonishing results. So the big question is this: how can a single supplement replace the work of a dialysis machine? Let's break it down. This 57-year-old man started with a creatinine of 4.5 milligrams per deciliter, corresponding to an eGFR of just 14. Now, that level doesn't automatically mean dialysis. With numbers that low live for years without it, simply by following a strict low-protein diet. But here's the key difference: he was symptomatic. And in CKD, symptoms change everything. We can often delay dialysis if a stage 5 patient feels fine, even with very low kidney function. But this man wasn't fine. He had classic signs of toxin buildup, persistent nausea, vomiting, and severe anemia that didn't respond to standard treatment. At that point, doctors usually say, dialysis, or you won't survive. Why? Because all these symptoms trace back to one root problem: nitrogen retention, the dangerous buildup of urea and other protein waste in the blood. Normally, dialysis clears those toxins. In peritoneal dialysis, for example, fluid is introduced into the abdomen to draw toxins across the peritoneal membrane and out of the body. But what if you could shift those toxins somewhere else into the gut? That's exactly what intestinal dialysis does. Instead of relying on machines, the patient takes a specialized soluble fiber supplement. This fiber is fermented by gut bacteria, which pulls nitrogenous toxins from the bloodstream into the intestines, where they're naturally eliminated. In other words, it mimics dialysis without machines, without needles, without hospitals. And in this case, the results were nothing short of remarkable. His GFR didn't just stabilize, it jumped to 79. That's not delaying dialysis. That's restoring kidney function. So, what supplement actually makes intestinal dialysis possible? Believe it or not, the concept isn't new. Back in 1984, a Greek nephrology pioneer named Hippocrates Yatzis experimented with intestinal uremic binders as an alternative to dialysis. This was long before we had today's knowledge of renal diets, protein restriction, or even reliable ways to manage potassium and phosphorus. Yet, he saw results. His binder of choice. Locust bean gum, hardly appealing, but surprisingly effective at the time. Now, locust bean gum isn't used anymore. You might know it as carob powder, a cocoa substitute. While interesting, it simply wasn't strong enough as a uremic binder, and at the high doses required, patients couldn't tolerate the side effects. The same was true for psyllium husk, fiber still popular today for gut health, weight loss, and cholesterol. It worked to some extent as a binder but required large amounts of water and caused side effects at dialysis-level doses. Other fibers, like arabinogalactin from large trees, were also tested and eventually abandoned. What nephrology truly needed was a soluble fiber that was safe at high doses, easy to take, and free of unpleasant side effects. And that's where the breakthrough came: Acacia fiber. Acacia fiber checks every box. It's virtually tasteless, mixes easily with any liquid, and doesn't require extra water. Most importantly, even in high doses, it's extremely well tolerated. That's why I strongly recommend it as one of the most powerful uremic binders available today, especially for advanced CKD patients. Now, here's the important part. Acacia fiber alone didn't cure the 57-year-old patient who avoided dialysis. It was the cornerstone, yes, but intestinal dialysis only works when paired with the right medications and diet. Think of acacia fiber as the key that unlocked the door, while medical support and proper nutrition guided him through it. In this patient's case, additional treatments were essential: iron injections for anemia and calcium carbonate for phosphorus control. Alongside these, he followed a strict, low-protein, renal-friendly diet tailored to his condition. Without these interventions, there's no way he would have reduced his creatinine to 1.1 milligrams per deciliter and escaped dialysis. That's why I always emphasize, CKD can't be managed by guesswork. You need a personalized strategy. What worked for this patient worked because it was designed for his specific labs, symptoms, and needs. If you're not sure your current plan is giving your kidneys the best chance, I can help. Through personalized consultations, I'll review your labs, medications, and diet to ensure nothing critical is being overlooked. Together, we'll figure out if supplements like acacia fiber are right for you, how to use them safely, and most importantly, how to combine them with a strategy that supports real kidney recovery. This is about more than delaying dialysis. It's about taking back control of your health before things get worse. Now let's talk about the practical side: how to use acacia fiber safely, and how to avoid the most common mistakes. Here's the thing: for acacia fiber to act as a true replacement for dialysis, the doses used in studies are very high, about 1 gram per kilogram of body weight per day. For a 170-pound person, that's around 14 tablespoons daily. Yes, tablespoons, not teaspoons. And no, I am not telling you to go out and do that. That kind of dosing should only ever be done under close medical supervision. For most patients, I recommend much smaller amounts. Even then, I always check their medications and labs first, because while acacia fiber is safe, it can affect how other drugs are absorbed. So, don't just start taking huge amounts as if it were water. It doesn't work that way. So how do you take it safely at any stage of CKD? Start small. Begin with a low dose, monitor how your body responds, and only increase gradually if there are no side effects. Acacia fiber is generally very well tolerated, even in people with constipation or IBS, but it's still better to be cautious. Another key point: timing matters. Always take acacia fiber at least 1 hour apart from medications like metformin, levothyroxine, or blood pressure pills. The FDA considers acacia fiber safe, but its interaction with medications can increase as the dose goes up. Now, let's be clear: intestinal dialysis, the way it was used in the case study, can only be done with the help of a medical team. The smaller doses I recommend are not meant to pull someone off dialysis, but they can still be powerful in protecting your kidneys and possibly preventing the need for dialysis in the first place, especially when combined with the right diet and treatment. The amount I recommend always depends on the patient, but the general rule is, take it with your main meals. You can mix acacia fiber with water, blend it into a smoothie, or even stir it into oatmeal. Be creative, it's almost tasteless. Now, let me share something personal. Over the years, I've recommended acacia fiber to countless patients because it works. The problem? Finding a clean, reliable, medical-grade supplement has always been a headache. Too many brands add fillers, additives, or hidden ingredients like phosphorus or potassium. Some even change their formulas without warning. I finally got tired of that. So, I created my own solution, Rena Biotech. It's a supplement line made specifically for kidney patients, starting with Rena Fiber, a pure, medical-grade acacia fiber supplement with 0 additives and 0 junk. Just one ingredient, acacia fiber. That's it. Nothing more. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all.